I thought about that. How did they get the name Iraq? So I Googled that, by the way. Iraq used to be the name of a small town in the Babylonian Empire. They couldn't think of anything else, so they called it Iraq. Britain created Iraq. 50% Sunni, 50% Shiites, failure. You have to have a dictatorship. You knock down the dictator, the whole country falls apart. Nobody in Iraq cares about Iraq. It's politics when the American government speaks about the Iraqi government in Baghdad. That's a Shiite puppet of Iran, and 50% of the population who were Sunnis don't listen to them. They are not anybody's government. And nobody cares about the political Iraq. They care where the money is, where the oil is, where the minerals are, where the ports. But nobody cares about political Iraq. Understand, Islam does not recognize borders. They don't care if you're either Islam or you're not. The borders are totally irrelevant. It's only for administrative purposes. France creates Syria. Same problem. Alawites, Sunnis, Kurds, Druze, Jews, Zoroastrians, Kurds. The only way to run that is with a dictatorship. You go against them, the whole country falls apart. Nobody cares about Syria. They care about their allegiances to their tribe, to their religion, to their area. Nobody gives a damn about political Syria. That's a Western hang-up. Because they created these states, they don't know how to function against them when they're not states. France wants to protect Christians, breaks off the western part of the Syrian province and calls it Lebanon, tells the world it's a Christian country. And that's the second thing that the Turks did 500 years ago. Not only did they divide the world between Muslim and non-Muslim, they also had an edict, a religious edict that since the Crusades were there and they kicked the Christians out, no non-Muslim can be sovereign in the Muslim part of the world. As soon as France told the world that Lebanon is a Christian country, that's the end of Lebanon. There's no more Lebanon, guys. It's a joke that they play in United Nothings. There are less than 10% Christians here in Lebanon. There was a 16-year civil war. Tens of thousands of people lost their life. Nobody cared because there's no oil here. The world just let it go on. And the Christians got their tushies whooped seriously. And today there's less than 10% Christians in all of Lebanon. Even though the president, according to the Constitution, has to be a Christian. But he's appointed by the Hezbollah. So understand this, that this 500-year-old edict is alive and well. You need to understand, people, that the trouble between Israel and her neighbors has nothing to do with settlements, has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with diplomacy. It has to do with religion, because they regard us as infidels, and no infidel can be sovereign in their part of the world. And God put Israel right smack in the middle of the Muslim world. And as long as they continue to regard us as infidels, there is not going to be peace and quiet here. And it has nothing to do with the settlements. If we gave them everything they wanted, they would still not want Israel here as a sovereign Jewish nation. And that's the truth. And that's why we're not giving them anything. And that's why we tell Kerry and Obama and the whole world to go to hell. We're not going to do what they say because that's stupid and that's suicide. And we know exactly what's going on here. Just think about it. How clever, in this particular case, is Netanyahu. And I don't like him, our prime minister, personally. I mean, I wouldn't have him as a friend. But just think about this. He tells the world to keep everybody quiet. Yeah, I'm willing to sit down and talk about two-state solution. I'll talk with anybody. I'll recognize a Palestinian state as long as they recognize a Jewish state. They can't do that. It's against their religion. We know it. He knows it. That's why he's giving them. He is making them. How does that movie go? He's giving them a oh, come on! You know, with the horse's head.
Offer they can't refuse. Offer they can't refuse.
Right. He's giving them an offer they have to refuse. You see? He's giving them an offer they have to refuse. I'm willing to recognize you if you recognize me. Well, they can't. So there you go. That's the way it is, guys. The difference between Lebanon and Palestine is that Palestine was never a country, it was never a state. And that's because of the Balfour Declaration. You've all heard of the Balfour Declaration, and it said that the British were supposed to help the Jews create a country. They didn't want to do that, the British. So when the League of Nations collapsed, the British broke off 2/3 of Palestine, called it Transjordan. Then they brought a tribe of Bedouins from Saudi Arabia called the Hashemites, and they plopped them on the Palestinians in Amman. And they said, here's a new country called the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. Huh? If you take Jordan today, and you take Israel today, and you put it together, that's the 1922 British Mandate. There's no room for a third country. Nobody said there should be a Palestinian country. They said Palestinian rights, in other words, as Muslims, have to be have to be recognized, and they are. We don't stop them from being Muslims, but they don't have the right to destroy us, and they don't have a right to create a third state in Palestine. Palestine is Jordan and Israel. Simple. You don't like the name, change the name. They're not getting half of my third. That's not going to happen. And especially the way they regard us today, the way they're doing things today, where I'm going to let them have an army. You know, they want a political state. Sure. They can stand on their head and whistle Dixie for another 1,000 years. They're not getting it. And if we have to fight to maintain it, then we'll do that. You have to understand something, guys. We as Zionists did not come here 100 years ago or more. We didn't come here to beat up anybody. We didn't come here to steal anything. Understand, this is the only country in the world that the whole world knows belongs to the Jewish people. They don't want to let us have it for their own reasons, but everybody knows this is Jew land.
Change the name. I like that.
This is the only country in the world that a Jew from anywhere in the world shows up, says, I want to live here. You are a citizen the same day. No passport, no visa, no green card, no bureaucracy. I'm a Jew, I want to live here. You're a citizen the same day. Understand this, people. God gives us free choice. You can live wherever you want. God bless you all. If any of you want to or need to come to Israel, we as Zionists have promised that for the first time in 2,000 years, the doors are open. There is a Jewish country, and we are all family, and you're all welcome. And we'll defend that with our lives. Now, in 2006, our kibbutz here, as an example, was bombarded for 34 days. They know we have a military stuff here. And they bombed us for 34 days, 24/7. We did not evacuate. The women and children air raid shelters and bunkers. And the men put out the fires and swept up the glass, checked up on the kids, went to work if we could. At night we stood ambush. Twice the Hezbollah sent ground troops to try to get in here. And we met them at the fence, and they didn't get in, and they didn't get home, and they didn't try the third time. There's no love lost. They spent 34 days trying to kill me. They never said sorry, and I reserve the right to be thoroughly pissed off at my neighbors. And if there's anything I can do to make their lives miserable, I'll happily volunteer. You come through Kiryat Shmona. Kiryat Shmona was getting 200 bombs a day falling on it. Every single day, fresh eggs and milk and bread was delivered to our kibbutz. Every day, except Shabbat, the mail was delivered. Twice a week for the whole month, our garbage was collected. What I'm trying to tell you is that we are a different brand of Jews around here. We are not diaspora Jews. We are not intimidated by anybody. We're not afraid of anybody, and we're not marshmallows. If you F with us, we'll kill you. And you better get used to this, Mr. World. For 2,000 years, we've been the butt of everything. Not anymore. I tell everybody, including the Arab groups that come, as far as we're concerned up here, and I mean this in the best possible terms, we are Jewish rednecks. This is my country and my home and my land and my family and my loved ones, and if you threaten me, I'm going to shoot you dead. And I will not hesitate, and I will sleep very nice. It's not going to bother me. No guilt feelings. God created everybody. Everybody has the right to live, including me. You threaten me and mine, I'm going to kill you. I don't care who you are. Don't care where you come from. Don't care what you look like. Don't care what your politics are. And I sure as hell don't care what your psychological defects are. You threaten me, I'm going to shoot you. For me, it's very simple. I don't have any political problems. It's very simple. This is mine. Leave me the hell alone, or I'm going to hurt you. We're badass Jews up here. And you better understand that. And I think that's one of the difficulties in the world, that the world can't get its head around the fact that we're no longer victims and marshmallows. We kick back, and we kick back really hard and really good, and we aim better. And we're smart. So we can screw you over before you even know you've had it and you're dead. Don't mess with us. That's done. That part of Jewish history is over. That's what we're doing here, nothing else. Okay. I'm going to give you a very short, edited, very highly edited autobiography. And just so you'll know who's talking to you and with what authority I'm talking to you guys. And I'm telling you these things. My name is Aryeh Ben Yaakov, and I was born 75 years ago, 1940, in Cleveland, Ohio. In 1961, at the age of 21, I made Aliyah. 8 months later, I joined the Israeli army. I was in the paratroopers. Got discharged in 65, toured around for a place to live, found my mountaintop, been here ever since. My working life, I'm a farmer. I worked in the field crops because I don't like chickens or fish unless they're on my plate. As a paratrooper, I have participated frontline combat in 4 wars in Israel. I was with the paratroopers in the liberation of Jerusalem, where we had 50% casualties. It wasn't fun. And then the next day, while everybody else was celebrating, they took us to Syria, and we got 45 kilometers from Damascus, and then they stopped us. That pissed me off because I wanted to eat hummus in Damascus. The second war was called the War of Attrition against Jordan and Palestine and the Palestinian terrorists, and later on Egypt in the Sinai. 1973 was the Yom Kippur War, and I was in the first wave of assault boats across the Suez Canal. And we pushed the Egyptians back. We got 101 kilometers from Cairo. And then the government stopped me again. I couldn't eat hummus in Cairo. 1982 was the first Lebanon war. We went in there and kicked out the Palestinians, sent them to Tunis. And militarily occupied the area here, I told you, for 18 years. And we got to the environs of Beirut, and they stopped us again, and I couldn't eat hummus in Beirut. So, I can only tell you, from total lack of experience, that the best hummus in the Middle East is in Israel. You want to eat a good hummus, eat it here. Now, in the 18 years I spent 7 years my reserve duty inside Lebanon, I could be a tour guide in there, but I don't want to. Lebanon's a beautiful country. The people are shits. And, well, I told you the way I feel about it. You know, you don't shoot at me for 34 days and expect me to love you. I don't like these people. In short, I have been shot at hundreds of times. I have buried good friends, and I've killed people. And all of this is in defense of our country. And I say our country because you people are an integral part of it. You pay taxes, you donate, your parents give money to the Jewish funds. We are the Jewish people. We are all in the same boat. Whether you come to live in Israel or not, you are part owners. It's like a corporation. You all have shares in this country. You know there's no private land in Israel. 90-some% of the land is not